Denise Linn, I am so happy to have you here on camera at Livsenergipodden. I am honored because you have touched so many thousand people with your over the world with books, with your card decks and your lessons and events. I mean, the other day you were just speaking to 800 people. I don't know in what country, you can tell that yourself. But you are one of the authors that our readers and members in this book club um, loves. So now you have written this fantastic book about self-esteem, and we couldn't do anything but release it, of course, in Swedish. So the gift of low self-esteem in Swedish is called När självkänslan vacklar. And it looks like this. Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
it looks like
beautiful. It is
this.
absolutely beautiful. I love it.
And it's very colorful because it's self-esteem is how do you say, it's a term with a stamp, and we can talk about that. But first of all, I want to wish you so welcome, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to speaking to you today.
Well, I am absolutely honored to be here. And I have to just as an aside, I love Sweden. And I love the
Yeah.
Swedish people. And I used to teach in Sweden periodically, and I always was so warmly welcomed, and I love the energy of the land. And so it's an honor that you've decided to publish my book in Swedish because part of my heart is in Sweden.
Oh, that's so lovely to hear. We did launch another book, but it's about 7 or 8 years ago, and it
Mm.
was Energy Strands.
Aha.
That was a beautiful, beautiful book.
Oh,
Also,
wow. Thank you.
we still have it in ebook, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah. So, here today, you are in California, up north in California, right?
I am. I live on the side of a
Yeah.
mountain.
Yes, and you are in the morning, you had breakfast, and I'm here at night in October. It's really dark outside.
Yeah, well, it's getting darker here, but it is we are lucky. It's a sunny day, and
Um,
yeah, and it's a beautiful October. So,
yeah, it is. It is. So you've written 19 books and inspired readers all over the world. What made you write The Gift of Self-Esteem? Low self-esteem.
yeah. um, and the low is important. Yes, it is. So, um, this book feels like the most important book that I've written. And I've actually written
Mm.
more than 20, but it doesn't matter after. So, after 10, it's,
It's
but
many.
yeah, who's counting? But because it speaks to the core of something that I've dealt with for my whole life. And it feels like everything I've taught underneath it is this understanding of love of self and whatever gets in the way of love of self. So it's the most important book I've written. It feels like I put my whole heart and soul into it. And it has an interesting origin. And when
Mm.
I look back at how this book came, the gift of low self esteem, most people are trying to get high self esteem. But I tell you how it came into play is it probably starts when I was born, and my father told everybody I was the ugliest baby he had ever seen. So from
Mm.
the earliest time, my father said, "Yes, she was the ugliest baby I ever seen," and he was obsessed with the way I looked. When I'd come home from school, he'd make me exercise my ankle. He said I had fat ankles. Well, I was 115. I don't know what that is, but it's skinny, and I was 5'9". But and then my I don't ever remember my mother saying anything positive to me. And eventually she was put in a mental hospital, partly because of the way I was being treated and the violence I was experiencing. So I had two,
Mm.
where Low self-esteem can come from a lot of places. It can come from your childhood, your culture, your past life, your astrology, your biochemistry, from a lot of places. But for me, it actually came from my family.
Mm.
And so I was raised feeling like I wasn't okay and I wasn't good enough. And eventually, to make a long story short, I had a couple of suicide attempts because I just thought, I am worthless. There's no reason that the planet is better off for me. And, I was in the hospital and feeling like there's nothing good about me. I decided to go to a therapist, and the therapist said, Denise, there must be something you like about yourself. And I said, nothing. There's nothing. And she goes, you've got a week. You're going to come back here in a week. You've got 1 week to find something you like about yourself.
Mm.
1 day, nothing. 2 days, nothing. Finally, I was going to see her the next day. I thought, I've got to find something I like. And I was looking in the mirror and I have this kind of golden green eyes. And I thought, oh, I like that little bit of amber and green. I think that's beautiful. I was so happy. And then that day I went to a street fair and there was an iridologist there. And they look at your eyes and
Mm.
they tell you about yourself. And, they do it for free as, a way to get business, I guess. But he looked at me and went, I'm like, what? He goes, that gold and amber part of your eyes? I'm like, yes. He goes, that means you're toxic. I'm like, oh
Mm.
my gosh, the one thing that's good about me, and it means I'm toxic. So I tried so many things to get high
Mm.
self-esteem because, we have a culture, especially, I don't know
Mm.
in Sweden, but in the United States, everyone wants to have high self-esteem. I can
Yeah.
do it, I can make it. And I tried books and therapy and seminars.
Mm.
And no matter what, I still had really low self-esteem.
Mm.
And one day it occurred to me, I might never be confident. I might never have high self-esteem. So I've got to figure out what's great about it. And so
Yeah.
this book chronicles all the things I found that were so great about low self-esteem. And in fact, if someone gave me a choice, Denise, do you want to stay with a low self-esteem or have high confidence?
Mm.
I don't know. I think I'll stick with a low self-esteem because
Mm.
of all the value that I've gotten in my life from it.
Mm. That's it took you a while to get there, but obviously you found something really good. And with this book that you have written, you are helping a lot of people, I think, to find that earlier on the way.
I would hope so, and that is my dream, and that's why I'm so passionate about this book because I wish someone would have given me the information in this book like decades ago.
Yeah.
It would have saved a lot of suffering. It might have even saved those suicide attempts. If I
Yeah.
just had this information in my hands, I'd be like, "Hey, you're absolutely okay the way you are, and here's
Mm.
why."
Mm.
But hopefully, this book will reach the right hands.
Yeah, I think so. So would you say in order to like this book and like to read it, would you, I mean, identification is good, right? To understand what low self-esteem is and feel that you know what that is. But do you have to have low self-esteem all the time? I mean, everyone wackles. So you have low self-esteem sometimes, and then sometimes you feel confident and. So is the book for everyone that experiences low self-esteem anytime?
I think for anyone that has experienced or does experience low self-esteem, even though there's those high peaks, that instead of judging it, which is what I call a double bummer, you have low self-esteem and then you judge yourself from having
Mhm.
low self-esteem. Do you have that word bummer in Swedish?
Yeah,
Downer.
but I don't
We'll
down.
say it's a
Yeah,
downer,
yeah,
a
downer.
double
Yeah.
downer, right.
Oof.
And so
Heavy.
it's for anyone who has that time when you're down, ho
Mm.
instead of judging yourself, "Oh, I should be more positive. Oh, I should do my affirmations. Oh, I should, visualize myself," or whatever modality, "I should pray harder," whatever modality you use, to have the strategy of, "Oh, I'm down. What's the value in this? What can I gain
mm,
from this?
mm,
How can I use this to empower my life? What's great
mm.
about this? So
Yeah,
it's for anyone really who ever has those downs or who is down all the time. I was pretty much down all
yeah,
the time.
yeah,
I did a good job of hiding it though, which a
yeah,
lot of people do. A lot of people who suffer from low self-esteem do a really good job of not letting people know. And
yeah,
therein dwells the problem because the soul loves the truth. And when you are telling one truth to, to others and another truth to yourself, it's a disconnect.
mm,
So it's for anyone, really.
yeah. That's a very good point you have there. It's a disconnect to not live true and true to yourself, true to your soul.
Mm.
Mm. So you've shared openly about your own experiences of trauma and self-doubt in this book. So, I mean that's something that the understanding of what that the impact of that in your life has probably evolved over time. So, looking back at that evolution and development, what can you say about it?
Well, what helped is that journey to understanding what was great about low self esteem. One of the things, and there's so much, one of the things that I realized, and you've heard that expression, the cracks are where the light gets in, is when I realized I was cracked.
Mm,
I've got all kinds of issues with who I am and not loving or even liking who I am. But in those cracks, well, I take a step back. If you think of someone who's really confident, and it feels good to be really confident, but often they have this calloused hardening around their
mm,
identity. This is the way life is. This is
mm,
right and this is wrong. And I don't know about you, but I don't feel comfortable around those people. They tend to be kind of
mm.
judgmental.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about a confident person who's open and vulnerable. This is like what we think of. And
Mm,
here anyway, of confidence. It's like, yeah. But there's no room for understanding or compassion or even insight or inspiration because of this hardened shell. And
yeah.
when I thought, I've got so many cracks and literally where the light comes in and can get out. One of the things that low self-esteem does for many people, and certainly did for me, is it activates compassion.
Mm,
When you're with those really confident people, they aren't usually very compassionate, like just get up, get on with it.
mm,
What's keeping you? They don't understand. It's not always that simple. But when you've been in the darkest of holes and someone says, I'm in this dark hole, you're like,
mm,
hey, I got it. I've been there.
mm,
I understand. And one of the most valuable gifts that anyone can have as a human being is to be compassionate.
mm,
And you often don't get compassionate if you are highly confident. Usually,
mm.
compassion comes from people who have experienced the dark night of the soul, who've experienced whatever that pain, that fear, that jealousy, that resentment, whatever it is, they've experienced it so they understand it. So I'm so grateful for the compassion that I've garnered through
Mm.
through the journey. And I could list so many other things and,
Mm.
about the value that I've gotten, but I think I'm just talking too long here. So,
No, 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 no. You have all the time in the world, and it's your voice we want to listen to, not mine.
well,
But
then let me tell you a few more things then, if
yeah,
I can.
yes.
So I lived in a Zen Buddhist monastery
Mm.
for 2.5 years. And it was one of the best times of my life because there'd been so much
In the US
in the
or
US, but
yeah?
the main monastery was in Japan, in Kamakura, but
Mm,
this was in Hawaii, and they were all Japanese there, and but it was very strict. I mean, I would sit facing a wall for 13, 16 hours a day during sesshin, and at, 4 to 6 to 8 during regular time. So it's a lot of just sitting facing a wall. It was wonderful. It was boring.
mhm,
I never got enlightened, but it was wonderful just to have that time. And the Zen monks would sometimes speak through a translator, but there was one Zen monk from Japan who could speak English, and he kept talking about dono mind. You must develop dono mind. I'm like, Okay, don't know mind. I didn't know what don't know mind was. Eventually, someone said what he was trying to say was, don't know mind. And
Ah,
don't know mind means I don't know all the answers. I don't know what is, certain in life. That don't know mind, don't know means you're open to enlightenment. You're open to seeing the truth of things because you have don't know mind, don't know
mm,
mind.
yeah,
And so I realized that was one of the other things that was valuable about a lack of self-esteem was this don't know mind.
yeah. Don't mind. So actually, I can relate to that because when you get into the work life after university and stuff, you should show your feet, we say in Sweden. You should do your work and be a good employee and so on. And you try to know everything, but there's a bigger value in actually being able to say, I don't know. I have to find out. I can find out, but I don't know. I don't have the answer right here, right now.
What
Mm.
they found, they did some research with doctors, and what you're talking about is when you step into don't know mind, which some people say, "Well, that's a lack of confidence, you should act like you
Oh.
do know." But they found that doctors who would admit that they didn't know were actually rated much higher doctors, where a doctor that's really confident, someone comes and they say, "I have these symptoms." And the doctor would say, "Well, 90% of the people who have those symptoms have X. You have X."
Mm, mm,
Sounds good if he's right or she's right. But
mm,
a doctor that is not confident, is unsure, has don't know mind, will say,
mm,
90% of the people who have those conditions are this, but there's
mm,
10%, it's Y or Z. So let's do some more research. Let's find out. And I thought that was really interesting research because those doctors were actually much better doctors. The doctors that were
mm,
in uncertainty, which you would say, well, that's a lack of self esteem. They were
mm.
uncertain, where the confident doctor was a less beneficial physician.
Yeah. They are jumping to conclusions also.
Yeah, based on
Yeah.
their certainty.
Yes. Yes. So, looking at your story, Denise, one would never think that you have low self-esteem or that you've suffered of low self-esteem in big parts of your life.
I still
So,
have a lot of low self-esteem. I'm not the person that says, "Oh, I've gotten over it, and this is what you can do." I
no,
still,
no,
every single day, have low self-esteem,
yeah,
but I'm
but
okay with it.
what? Yes, and that's a difference. So, if you suffered from it before, maybe you're not suffering today. That you have found a value in it. Could you
Yeah,
say?
and sometimes it feels like suffering, but I've
Yeah.
developed some strategies when
Yeah.
I'm in the, that, "Oh my god, I'm so terrible," or, "Oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
not good enough." It's still there, but there's a few things I do. One is just allow myself to feel what I'm feeling without judging.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting, Denise? You're feeling very insecure today, aren't you? It's like I talk to myself, "Yes, I am. I'm no
Mm.
good."
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And so instead of like, "Oh, you should never feel that way," or "Don't let anyone know," it's like noticing what the truth is. And there's
Yeah.
such power. I say it over and over again, the soul loves the truth.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like, it's the roller coaster. Sometimes, people pay money to get on a roller coaster and get scared. People
Yeah.
pay money to go to a movie, to be terrified or be sad or, get
Mm.
angry. They pay money. So I'm thinking, "You've paid your money, Denise. Enjoy
Mm.
the ride." It's not all the high vibe. Who No one really I mean, some people maybe would pay money to go to a movie where everybody's happy for the whole movie. Usually the movies that make
Mm.
a lot of money where it ignites your emotion.
Mm.
So I just think,
Yeah.
"Okay, I paid my money. Now I'm going to enjoy the."
Yeah, that's a good strategy.
And the other thing I do is instead of wallowing in the past,
Yeah.
I just, like, think, "Okay, the past is done. What now?" Instead
Yeah.
of, "Oh, I shouldn't have done." Okay, I'll give you an example from this morning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to drop some weight, and
Mm.
yesterday, I food I ate and the amount was not the kind of food you eat if you're trying to drop weight. And I even hired a diet coach, to help me. And I woke up, I'm like, oh, what was I thinking? Oh, I'm so bad.
Yeah.
And then I thought, wait a minute, you cannot change the food you ate. You can't. The only thing you can do is go forward. So let it go. And that's different because I used to spend so much time beating myself up for things I couldn't change because they were already
Yeah.
done. Now
Mm,
I'm like, alrighty then. Yeah, yesterday
mm,
was didn't do as well yesterday, but today's a new day.
yeah.
And that's very helpful for me personally.
Yeah, I see that, and I do recognize the behavior. Beating yourself up about something that you can't change. So the question is actually, what surprises people most when you reveal that you struggle with low self-esteem? Because I mean, not everyone know. Nowadays, when you have launched this beautiful book, more people know, but it's still something that's not visible, obviously.
I've always been as open as I can be
Yeah.
about my own struggle, my own journey.
Mm.
And what I find most people say is, oh my God, if you have low self esteem and your life is as good as it is, I can have a great life with my low self esteem.
Yeah.
And that means so much because you
Yeah.
can have a phenomenal life and feel bad about yourself and judge yourself and, be the victim of life. You can have all of that. That's part of just being
Mm.
human and have a great life.
Yeah.
And so that makes me feel really happy when people say that.
Yes, and it's very true.
Here's something else I do. Talking to you, I'm thinking of all these strategies that work for me.
Yeah.
When we are sad or scared or upset, w it's like something descends on us rather than us owning it. So, what I do is if I wake up and I'm, stressing incidentally, there's a lot of good things about stress, but instead of like, "Oh my god, I'm so stressed. Oh, I've got all these problems." I just think, "Okay, today I'm doing stress. I choose it. I choose what is. Or today I'm doing
Right.
anger, or today I'm doing sadness." So I own it. How you doing today, Denise?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing depression today. It's a whole different energy than like, oh, I'm really depressed or I'm really blue. And
Yeah.
you own it. And so that's very helpful too. Is yeah, I have it, but I choose it.
Yeah. But I like that. I like the idea of just, embracing it. So this is what we have to on the menu today. So let's just eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, and choose to eat it. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, this is
exactly.
what
And try and taste it,
yeah,
taste
this
it.
is what I wanted. There's an
Yeah.
example I use on the you imagine a schoolyard, and there's this little tiny boy, and he's running so fast because behind him is a bully.
Yeah.
And you have that expression in Sweden? A bully? A
Yeah.
bully oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the bully is after him, and he's big, and "I'm gonna beat you up, I'm gonna get you." And little Billy, the little boy, turns around, and he says, "I'm making you chase me." He
Yeah.
screams. He goes, "I'm making you stop." The bully starts running, "I'm making you chase me." Who is in control?
Yeah,
Choosing what
exactly.
is an act of power,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah. It's very true. Wise word, wise woman. What would you say to the part of us that doubts our own worth? You have said so many things already, but is there anything
Here's
okay,
here's
just
another I've so many I've developed a lot of strategies.
mm,
One of the strategies that I completely love, and I use it so much because it's so valuable, and that is this idea of a fairy godmother. And
mm,
I imagine that each of us have a kind of a fairy godmother. You can think of it as a part of yourself, or you can think of it as a being in the spirit realm, whatever your modality of viewing the world around you is. But my fairy godmother, and I imagine yours and anyone watching this, she loves me no matter what. She just thinks I'm the best. And she has a gentle amusement at me, and I imagine my fairy godmother, she's got this little cottage in the woods, and there's flowers, and she's standing outside the cottage, and because I'm kinda big. She's kinda big and got an apron on, and I come up to the door, and she goes, "Oh, honey, hi, welcome. Put your, burdens here. You can pick them up when you leave, but come on in." And no matter how I'm judging myself, no matter what I'm ashamed of or resentful of or angry or sad, she just kinda laughs at me like, "Oh, yeah, that's just being human. Come on in, honey." And she loves me no matter what. And in my mind, seeing her and seeing her joy at seeing me and seeing her laughing at my I sometimes I overshare, and I sent a email recently off to someone, and my daughter says, "Mom," because my daughter saw the email, "You overshared, you way overshared." I'm like, oh my god, I overshared. Oh, I'm so ashamed." And then my fairy godmother's just laughing at me. "Yeah, you overshared." But then what was so amazing, I got this email from my daughter today, and she goes, "You know that email that you sent where you overshared?" And I said, "Yeah, I think, I'm gonna be in trouble now." She goes, it was forwarded to the woman it was about, which is something really nice about that woman, and
Mm.
the woman is blown away with happiness.
Mm.
And so it's like,
Cute.
okay, we don't know the whole story, and that's another strategy is we do not know the whole story. And you
Mm.
might think that horrible bad thing or you lost your job and they said you were worthless. You might think, "Oh, that is so bad." But maybe the whole story is there's a better job out there for you. We don't know the whole story about
No.
our lives. But if you just kept thinking, "I don't know the whole story, but this is for my highest good," saying that over and over again will allow you to release some of that stress
Mm.
about that turn in life, if you will.
Yeah, certainly. So we have many learnings for low days. Thank you. So you say that low self-esteem can actually be a superpower. What do you mean
Yes.
by that? So we've learned that you can turn it around and so on. So what about the superpower?
Um, the way it is a superpower is that it will put you in a place where you are more when you are okay with it,
Mm.
it puts you in a place of having a greater sense of continuity and connection to your soul, to yourself. And when there's an alignment with your truth and yourself, whatever that truth is, the energy and the radiance and the power that moves out of you is palpable and people feel it. And I wonder sometimes if it isn't my embracing of my own lack of self-esteem that means that people like to come to me. I don't know,
Mm.
but I imagine that that has something to do with it. If I was trying to pretend I was wise and confident, I doubt I would have so many people coming to my events.
Mm.
And so I don't know, but that's my surmise that it becomes a superpower because as you step into it, embrace it, and love it, you become more authentic. And
Mm.
there's a yearning in our world for authenticity. And it's we feel it when you are with someone who is authentic, you feel drawn to that person. When you are with someone who is lying, and sometimes they can get away with it, but often you can feel it inside and it just doesn't feel good. So that was a long answer to your question.
No, and definitely not too long. I think it was a so I mean there is a difference from what we have been talking about changing your attitude towards a low self-esteem and looking at it as a superpower. And I think that you're completely right. So owning it makes it, and I mean, I would say also that if I embrace it, I own it, and I can see it from a different perspective and not just look down on it.
And if you look at it as positive, they did some research in the Health Psychology Journal in 2012, and they found that because everyone has stress is
Mm.
just a modern code word for fear, but they found that people who viewed stress as bad are 43% more likely to die prematurely.
Mhm.
43% more likely to
Wow.
die prematurely, people who view stress as negative or bad. People who view stress as okay or even good, those people have a much longer lifespan. And I thought that research was fascinating because
Yeah,
it's
it
not
was.
the stress that was killing them necessarily
Mm.
prematurely, it was the view that it was bad. So
Yeah.
we all have these quote unquote negative qualities, but if you view them as bad, you're more likely to have health issues. You're more likely to have a
Mm.
relationship issues if you just go, well, there I go again.
Mm.
That's
And the thing with low self-esteem, I think it's, I mean, society have put strong and high self-esteem on the pedestal. So so everyone wants to have high self-esteem, but who says that's that's it? That's the shit.
Well, they did this interesting research in business because in business, they want to hire the person who's certain and has confidence, right? I mean, those are the
Mm,
people who usually get hired. But they
mm,
did research with the people who were not so confident. The people are saying, I don't know, but I'll find out. And they found out if they had hired those people, they would have had their finances would be in much better shape
mhm,
because those people were actually more competent and I
mhm,
think that was in the Harvard Review. I don't have
mm.
that. I thought I
I'm
wrote
not surprised actually. I think that yeah, it sounds like a good thing because if you're curious and not think that you know everything already, obviously you'll do,
yeah,
yeah,
they
you
they
look
found
into
that
it.
there was more productivity, better solutions were evolved,
Mm,
and more finances came into the company by hiring
mm,
the people that weren't the high self-esteem people. And I
yeah.
just thought that was fascinating. I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
I'd written that research. It's in the book, the research where that
Yeah.
is. But
One thing that stands out, things that when you read the book, things stay. Certain things stay more than others. And you say, I'm not okay, and that's okay. Is that something that you came up with? And what does it mean to you?
well, in the 1967, there was a book that came out in the United States called I'm Okay, You're Okay. And it was a
Mm,
revolutionary bestseller. But there was this idea that I have to be okay all the time
mm,
and I have to see you as okay all the time, which is not bad. But the truth is, sometimes I am not okay. But to not judge that, to just, I mean, the things we've been talking about, to know I'm just
yeah.
not okay. But you know what? That's okay.
Mhm.
That's what's so. That's that's the way it is today. And
Yeah.
there's so much relaxation in that. Like, I'm not okay, but I've gotta work to get okay. I'm working on it. I'm going to therapy. I'm doing affirmations. I'm visualizing. I'm doing the work on myself. But why not just like, I'm not okay today, and you know what? That's okay. I'm just gonna get on with life. I'm good. And
Yeah.
here's when I didn't mention this before, but I had a near-death experience when I was 17 years old. And there were quite a few minutes where the doctors said I'd died. And I remember where I was. And it was a place that was so beautiful, so bright, and so familiar. I was home. This was the dream. And I gained so many insights while I was there during those moments when, beyond death's door. And
Mhm.
one of them was the value of our emotions. In that place, there was only love, only beauty, only grace. But I realized how precious all of our emotions are. And I have a friend named Anita Barjoni. I don't know if you've heard of her. She had a very
Oh, of course we have.
a near-death experience. And when we talk, we both talk about realizing that the preciousness and not just the joyous emotions, but all of the emotions. Every emotion is like a note in the symphony. You wouldn't go to a
Mm,
symphony with one perfectly beautiful F sharp note. No, you want the crescendos and the denouements and
mm.
to just cherish it all. You know,
Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah.
okay today.
And when you have your lows, you can value the highs in a different way and so
Mm,
on. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like all the seasons of
Oh, that's a
emotions.
beautiful way of putting it. It's like you wouldn't
Mm.
just wanna have summer all the time. Some people might, but it's more fun when you have spring, summer, fall, and winter.
Yeah, what you don't know our winters. I can do without winter. I can do with
I
spring,
have
summer,
been
and
there
fall.
in the winter,
Oh, you do?
actually. Yeah, but, it I haven't been there for months in the
No,
darkness like you
no,
are.
it's different. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Mm.
But your spring,
Um,
oh my god, your spring is
yeah, it's beautiful.
amazing. It happens so
Mhm.
fast.
Mm. Yes, it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite seasons,
Mm.
actually. Even fall.
When's
Um,
your birthday?
18th
What's
of May, so it's in the
see,
spring.
I often find people like the season when it is the season of their births. Not
Oh,
always,
yeah.
but so I'm not surprised you're a spring baby because that's the season that you love.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Many people feel pressure to always be confident and enough. Well, we've talked about this, the society's norm. What would you say to someone who feels they're failing of self love?
Well, first of all, I'd say you're not alone.
Mm,
Most people, quote unquote, fail at self-love. I don't know
mm,
that it's a prerequisite of happiness to always feel like you love yourself. I think for me, one of the prerequisites of joy is gratitude. And when I look at all the sometimes I think, "How did I survive my childhood? How did I
mm,
survive emotionally intact?" It was much worse than I told you. It was really
mm.
rough.
I can't imagine.
It
Such a
was
burden.
I mean, it was rough, but somewhere I have a gratitude gene. I don't know where it came from, but I am freaking grateful all the time. I turn on the water in the sink in the bathroom. Oh my god, clear, clean, running water. Oh my god, this is so great. I use the toilet. Oh my god. I don't when I stayed with my grandparents, the toilet was out and it was hard winters in Oklahoma. You had to walk through the snow to get to the outhouse. And so I love
Mm,
flush toilets. I mean, there is so much every day. I'm grateful for my eyes. I'm
mm,
grateful for all these wonderful scents walking by our roses. I mean, there's always something to be grateful for, even if you have a lack of self worth, even if you have a lack of self esteem. What you focus on is what expands in your life. So it's like, oh
yeah,
my God, I'm so worthless. I'm disgusting. I'm no good. And that's what expands. And if you just
yeah,
shift just a tiny bit, like, oh my God, that is the coolest cloud. That cloud, I'm so grateful to see that cloud. That actually shifts everything. And it's not
yeah.
false, it's what's true, because in that moment, there's the cloud and there's your feeling of worthlessness.
Mm,
And it's not to deny the worthlessness, it's just to expand your awareness into other arenas. I hope this
mm.
made sense.
It does. Mm.
Oh, good. I thought, "You're just meandering, Denise. Just be quiet. Be quiet." See, that's a lack of self-esteem. You've talked way too much.
No, no, you shouldn't think about that.
One of the things I talked about in this wonderful interview with Alexandra is this idea of having a fairy godmother. So I'm going to lead you on a very short guided journey for you to connect with your fairy godmother. And do you know, in the inner realms, it does not need to take time to get results. So I'm holding the intent that in the moments ahead, no matter how long this is, that beneath conscious awareness, positive, powerful shifts occur deeply within you, all in accordance with your highest good. So go ahead. I'm going to put some music on, and I'm assuming you can hear this. Okay. And I hope it's not too loud or too soft. I hope it's just right. Perfect. May the Creator within all things bring blessings and peace. Taking a very deep breath in and exhaling. And inhalation and exhalation. You are safe. You are safe. Travel now in your imagination to outside the abode, the home, the cabin, the temple where your fairy godmother dwells. Visualize this place, this sacred place, this hallowed place. Make it as real as you can. Visualize it, imagine it, and if you're not visual, just get the feeling of how safe this place feels. And now imagine standing outside the door is your fairy godmother. What does she look like? What does she feel like? She knows you. She loves you unconditionally. She knows your entire past. She knows the deepest and even darkest places within you and absolutely loves you. She cherishes you. She supports you. Step up now towards her. She wraps her arms around you. Welcome, my beloved. Welcome. It is here you are safe. It is here you are loved. Come in. And you find yourself stepping in to her abode, her home. Maybe there's a large, comfortable chair. She invites you to sit down. Maybe pours you some tea or coffee. Or maybe there's a bowl of soup waiting for you. Maybe there's a fire in the fireplace. It feels so comfortable and so cozy in this place. It is here you can speak the truth of your soul. It is here she will listen with her heart open, cherishing you, supporting you. And I'll be quiet for just a short moment as you share with her your concerns, your questions, your challenges. She looks at you with such radiant, radiant confidence and love. Thank you, my beloved, she says, for sharing from your heart. You are enough, exactly as you are. If only you could see and know how very cherished and loved you are by those in the realm of spirit, you would relax, knowing that all is well. No matter what outer form your life has taken, there's a deeper truth. And that truth is, all is well. So be it, and so it is. And as you prepare to leave, you know that you can return to this meeting with your fairy godmother again and again when you need wisdom, when you need support, when you need love and comfort. As you find yourself coming back to normal, waking awareness. Knowing that beneath the surface, powerful positive shifts are occurring even now and will continue to occur in the days and weeks and months ahead. Mm.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this place I've never visited before.
Oh,
No. I will visit again.
mm.
It's
It
a
does need to
comfy
take.
place.
I love that. And it does not need take time to get results. So even a few minutes can make an enormous difference, especially if you hold the intention. Does not need to take time to get results. For in the inner planes, results can occur in an instant.
Very true. Very true. So you have a very, very nice voice to listen to. You know exactly what to say.
That's great.
Yeah, it is great. So we are coming to an end. I'm taking too much of your time already. So can I ask you another short question?
All right.
So is there something you want to say to your Swedish audience now when you have them in front of you? And
Mm,
also a key message about self-worth.
mm. Well, to my Swedish friends, I am so glad that you're in my life and I'm in your life. As I mentioned at the beginning of our time together, I felt such a depth of love and connection to the earth with the people that I met in Sweden. And what I would say in closing is what I guess, said all along is, but I'm going to add one little bit to it. I've mentioned over and over again, the soul loves the truth. But what I didn't mention is there's a place inside of you that absolutely knows what that truth is. And when you take time in quietude, in stillness, even in nature, which often helps you tap into the truth of your soul, you can find what that truth is. And then you can take action and follow the dictates of your soul. Even if it doesn't make sense to your conscious mind, your heart will know and your soul will know that you are going in the direction of your destiny in a wondrous way.
Mm. That's a beautiful message. Mm. Thank you so much, Denise. I have, I was so positively uh, surprised when hearing from you the other day because I had kind of given up because we're very close to launch and you made this happen. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you so much for your patience. I don't have employees, and sometimes there's more than one person can do. Well, that doesn't that sounds negative. More than I do, and so I am so glad that it worked out, and we were able to have this time together.
Great. So, whenever we are launching this, I will send you the links and you can follow us.
Oh, I would love that. I would completely love that.
And before we just shuts down, I just want to, you know, so this
Yay!
is your book. This is your book. Yeah.
Beautiful. And thank you so much. Thank you for publishing it. Thank you for this interview. Thank you for the grace and beauty of your heart.
Detail. Have a wonderful day now, wonderful week,
Too.
and we'll keep in touch. Thank you so
I
much.
love that.
Denise.